Hey, welcome to Think Thursday from the Alcohol Minimalist podcast. Think Thursday is all about your beautiful, brilliant human brain. We're talking neuroscience. We're talking behavior change. We are talking about your mindset. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Well, hello and welcome to Think Thursday from Alcohol Minimalist. These episodes are all about brain health. They are about neuroscience and they are about your mindset. And today's episode, it's dropping on Thursday, October 31st. So happy Halloween. But more importantly, I wanted to talk about really remaining calm and helping us be less stressed today. Because let's face it, if you live here in the United States, right now there is a lot going on. And with the upcoming election next week and all the uncertainty that surrounds it, many of us are feeling kind of an extra edge of stress and potentially some anxiety and worry about what's next. And so I wanted to offer something simple and accessible to help manage that tension, a practice that's literally proven to reduce stress, build emotional resilience, and support overall brain health. And so, emotional resilience and brain health, these are things we talk about all the time around here because they are ultimately what helps us create the habits that we want to have in our lives and to stop or break those unbreakable habits that are no longer serving us, like for many of you, your drinking habits, right? That's why you're here. I really have a very deep interest in neuroscience and in understanding how my brain works. And it's one of the reasons that I feel like that's kind of what helped me create this peaceful relationship with alcohol that I have, was really diving into that. And so understanding how important our beautiful brilliant brains are, how much agency we have in becoming more emotionally resilient, that is so important to me. And so that's what really, again, a part of why Think Thursdays are so important to me. And today we're going to talk about a practice that works to reduce stress, build that emotional resilience, and again, support brain health. And I'm actually talking about deep breathing. Now, research shows that just a few minutes of focused breathing each day can shift our brain into a calmer, more resilient state. And it helps us to respond to stress in ways that truly serve us. So, in today's episode, we're going to dig into the neuroscience behind deep breathing, and I'm going to share a simple technique that you can use anytime you're feeling tense or overwhelmed, which may happen, especially in the upcoming week. And so, let's take a collective deep breath and dive in. All right. So, let's start by breaking down how deep breathing actually helps us when we're feeling that heightened sense of anxiety. You probably are familiar or you've heard about the amygdala, and the stress response starts in the amygdala, which is the part of our brain that reacts to potential threats. When it kicks in, the amygdala releases cortisol, a hormone that in short bursts helps us respond to that immediate stress. But over time, increased levels of cortisol can leave us feeling drained and edgy, especially when we have a continual stress response, right? And a 2017 study actually published in Frontiers in Psychology shows that deep breathing actually reduces cortisol levels. It's helping us calm the brain's alarm system, and it activates our prefrontal cortex, which of course we know is the part of the brain that is responsible for all of our logical thinking, our reasoning, and it's what helps us control our impulses. So, by taking those deep breaths, we are calming down that lower brain and actually helping us activate that higher brain. We are taking that literal step back, we are taking a breather, and we are staying calm even when external stress is high. And over time, this practice actually rewires the brain. Okay, it's that neuroplasticity, making it even easier to stay steady when life feels like it is in, overdrive, right? So it's a practice that not only helps you in the moment, but over time, with practice, with repetition, you will actually be rewiring your brain. And that is incredibly important, right? Now, the next part of deep breathing is that it's really one of the best ways to handle any kind of uncertainty. Well, handling any kind of uncertainty is the way that we do it is by building up emotional resilience, right? When we become more emotionally resilient, we can handle life's ebbs and flows. And it's our ability to stay balanced when things get challenging. And deep breathing is one of the simplest and most effective ways to strengthen resilience because it activates our parasympathetic nervous system, also known as rest and digest. This system calms our body and mind by slowing our heart rate and lowering our blood pressure. It essentially is bringing us out of, again, that high alert and stress phase and back into balance. In 2018, researchers publishing in the Frontiers in Human Neuroscience found that regular slow breathing exercises significantly increased heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is a measure of how well the body can handle stress. A higher HRV is linked with better resilience and the ability to bounce back more easily. Now, who doesn't need a little more extra bounce back, especially right now, right? For any of us wanting to create a peaceful relationship with alcohol, a peaceful relationship with ourselves, or just navigating stress better in general, deep breathing is actually a really powerful way to create and reinforce that the emotional resilience from a neuroscientific and parasympathetic level. All right. The parasympathetic nervous system is incredibly important when you are talking about regulating that emotional response, right? And so deep breathing again helps us access our prefrontal cortex. Let's talk about dopamine for a minute. All right. You've heard me talk about dopamine in the past. It's that feel good chemical in the brain. And dopamine is released every time that we do something that feels rewarding or satisfying, which is why it plays such a big role in habit formation, right? It's why we definitely, if we are somebody that has developed a habit of drinking to try to cope with stress and anxiety, it's because we have created a dopamine loop, and dopamine and alcohol does help does release dopamine in the brain as well. During stressful times, we might feel pushed towards habits that give us that quick dopamine boost, like drinking, like checking the news, like scrolling social media, like maybe even a healthier routine like exercise, like those are great. Those are better coping mechanisms, right? Or for me, taking a warm bath. But deep breathing gives us a more sustainable way to create that sense of satisfaction. Yes, and deep breathing actually can increase dopamine levels. A 2019 study in the Journal of Neurotransmission showed that deep breathing exercises can increase dopamine levels, and it creates a natural and positive feedback loop in the brain. So when we use deep breathing regularly, we can actually train the brain to experience calm as a reward. Over time, with practice, with repetition, right? None of this happens on the first time. Well, actually, like I said, even in that moment for our parasympathetic nervous systems, deep breathing is going to, it's something that you're going to get a benefit from right away. But over time and with practice and with repetition, you are actually training your brain, rewiring those neural pathways to see the calm as the reward, right? And that's what we're always looking for. We're actually looking to relax. and we've just trained our brains that alcohol is the way that we do it. This is an opportunity to start training it that deep breathing can help us relax. Over time, deep breathing becomes something we naturally seek out, creating a positive pathway that supports that emotional resilience and helps us stay calm even when the world around us feels really intense. Now, you've heard me talk about this on Think Thursday now for a few, at least a few of the episodes, and I've talked about it on the main podcast too. But neuroplasticity, it's our brain's ability to rewire itself, and it's actually what makes new habits possible, right? It's what makes change possible. This adaptability means that the more we practice deep breathing, the more that we strengthen our brain's ability to manage stress with calm and clarity. Each time that we pause to breathe deeply, especially in stressful moments, we are reinforcing that neural pathway that promotes calm rather than reactivity. There's actual science behind this, right? I love bringing in the science. There was a study published in Nature Communications that found that consistent deep breathing exercises increase gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain that, is responsible for the logical, goal-oriented, future-focused thinking. So with practice, we are actually training our brain again to choose that calm. And it can help us become more emotionally resilient. Now, mindfulness, right? We talk about staying mindful a lot around here. And deep breathing is a form of mindfulness, which is really just our ability to stay present, right? With our thoughts and emotions. Right now, it might feel really easy to get swept away by the uncertainty, by the what ifs in the world. There's a lot of them. Mindful breathing helps us reconnect and stay in the present moment where we can focus on what's actually within our control. Mindfulness practices like deep breathing have been shown to strengthen brain regions involved in self awareness and emotional regulation, like the anterior cingulate cortex. Now, that's a big part of the brain, or another just specific part of the brain. But it's important to note that, like I said, these are things coming from scientific studies, right? When we practice deep breathing, we are going to become more mindful. And this awareness and staying more mindful helps us not react with stress and, anxiety and actually, or just being more reactive. We can choose to stay more calm and centered. So let's try a practical breathing exercise. All right. Sometimes, this is just, again, it's a practice. This exercise is called the 478, and it's something you can use anytime that you are feeling overwhelmed or anxious. And if that happens for you in this next week, then I hope that this episode is really helpful. I want you to, so we're going to inhale deeply for 4 seconds. We're going to hold our breath for 7 seconds. And then we're going to exhale slowly for 8 seconds. And we're going to do this a few times. And as we do it, we're going to reflect and just stay in that moment and stay, where we are, stay mindful. So I want you to find a comfortable spot, sit up straight, close your eyes if that feels right. I like to close my eyes. And start by breathing in deeply through your nose. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Letting your belly expand as you take in that breath. Now hold for 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to exhale slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want you to think about releasing your breath through that count of 8, letting go of any tension, worry with the exhale, and just imagine it leaving your body. Let's do it again. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and release. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can go through this cycle a few more times. Focus entirely on the rhythm of the breath. Let each breath bring a sense of calm and resilience into your body. When you're ready, do that for a few cycles, okay? Inhale for 4, exhale for 7. Hold for 7, exhale for 8. And then check in with yourself. Do you feel a little lighter, a little bit more centered? Recognizing even that small shift can help you create that dopamine, feeling, that that rewiring of understanding this is what calm feels like, and it can help us create that sense of control even in stressful times. Deep breathing might seem small, but it is a powerful tool for calming the brain, building resilience, and creating a mindset that supports peace, even when things feel uncertain. By making this practice part of your routine, no matter what is going on in the world, you are going to be able to train your mind to stay steady, to stay calm, adaptable. And I hope that that's really, again, that's what these Think Thursday episodes are all about. It's about building a healthier brain, understanding the science of the brain, and finding some practices that help us and overall improve our mindset. I hope these episodes are giving you useful things to practice, and I hope that over the next week that this one particularly is beneficial for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, choose peace and take it one deep breath at a time.